Everyone's obsessed with fitness these days. Six-pack abs, biceps that could crack walnuts, legs that could deadlift a small car. But here's what nobody's talking about. What happens when someone says one thing to you and your entire day crumbles? What happens when you've got muscles of steel but your emotions are made of glass? Let me ask you something. When was the last time someone got under your skin and you couldn't let it go? When was the last time you panicked over something that, looking back, wasn't even that serious? When was the last time your own thoughts became your worst enemy? Here's the uncomfortable truth. You can bench press 300 pounds and still get emotionally destroyed by a text message. You can run marathons but can't run away from your own anxiety. You can look like a warrior on the outside and feel like a wreck on the inside. Physical strength protects you from external threats, but mental strength that protects you from the battlefield inside your own head. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to share 5 psychological principles that can transform you from someone who reacts to life into someone who controls their response to it. Stick around, because number 3, that one changed everything for me. Let's dive in. Here's the thing about our current culture. We've become obsessed with optimization, biohacking, physical performance, looking good on Instagram. And don't get me wrong, physical fitness matters. It's part of the equation. But somewhere along the way, we forgot about the operating system that runs the whole show. This, your mind. The World Health Organization estimates that over 280 million people worldwide suffer from depression. Anxiety disorders affect nearly 300 million, and yet our gyms are packed. Our protein powder sales are through the roof. Our fitness app downloads are at all-time highs. We're building our bodies while neglecting our minds. It's like upgrading your car's engine while ignoring the fact that the driver doesn't know how to steer. Here's what I want you to understand before we go further. Being mentally strong doesn't mean never feeling emotions. It doesn't mean becoming a robot. It means developing the awareness to recognize what you're feeling, the discipline to choose how you respond, and the resilience to bounce back when life inevitably knocks you down. These aren't superpowers reserved for monks or Navy SEALs. These are skills, and skills can be learned. So let's break down exactly how. Quick question before we continue. On a scale of 1 to 10, how mentally strong do you honestly feel right now? Drop that number in the comments. Be honest. No judgment here. Alright, let's get into the first principle. Principle number 1. Embrace your emotions and build self-awareness. Most of us have been taught, usually by accident, to ignore our emotions. Man up. Don't be so sensitive. Stop overreacting. Just get over it. Sound familiar? Here's what psychology actually tells us. Emotions aren't the problem. Suppressed emotions are the problem. Emotional suppression is the act of consciously or unconsciously pushing down feelings rather than processing them. Research shows this leads to increased anxiety, depression, and even physical health problems. Think of your emotions like a pressure cooker. You can ignore the steam. You can pretend the pressure isn't building, but eventually, something's going to blow. The alternative? Learn to release that pressure intentionally, in controlled, healthy ways. Let's make this practical. Imagine you're at work. Your boss criticizes your project in front of the entire team, publicly, harshly. What's your gut reaction? For most people, it's one of 2 things. Option A, explode, get defensive, maybe say something you'll regret. Option B, swallow it, pretend you're fine. Go home and replay the moment 47 times while lying in bed. Neither works. Here's option C, the emotionally intelligent response. First,
Notice what you're feeling.
okay, I'm feeling embarrassed. I'm feeling angry. My ego is bruised. Just naming the emotion reduces its power over you. This is called affect labeling in psychology. And brain imaging studies show it actually decreases activity in the amygdala, your brain's alarm system. Second, ask yourself a crucial question. Is this criticism valid? Did I actually drop the ball? Or is this about my boss's bad day? If it's valid, learn from it, improve. That's growth. If it's not, let it roll off. That's self-respect. Here's your reflection for this principle. Think about the last time you got emotionally triggered. What were you actually feeling underneath the reaction? Anger is often fear in disguise. Irritation is often exhaustion. Defensiveness is often insecurity. Sit with that. Principle number 2. Learn to let go of past hurts. Here's a metaphor I want you to really think about. Imagine trying to run a marathon while carrying a backpack filled with rocks. Every painful memory, every betrayal, every failure, every heartbreak, they're all in that backpack, and you're choosing to carry them. Rumination is the compulsive focus on distressing thoughts or experiences. Unlike productive reflection, rumination keeps you stuck without leading to insight or action. The difference between reflection and rumination? Reflection asks, what can I learn from this? Rumination asks, why did this happen to me? Over and over, without ever finding an answer. Think of your life as a book. You're supposed to keep reading. New chapters, new adventures, character development. But what happens if you keep rereading the same painful chapter over and over? You never get to the good parts. You never discover who you become. You're just stuck. Here's something psychologically fascinating. When people go through breakups, what do? They listen to sad songs. They reread old text messages. They look through photos. Why? It feels terrible. It makes everything worse. But our brains are wired for familiarity. Even familiar pain over uncertain healing. Wallowing feels productive because at least you're doing something, even if that something is destroying you. Look, I need to address something important here. Some of you have been through serious trauma. Breakups, yes, but also abuse, toxic relationships, loss. Letting go doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It doesn't mean the person who hurt you was right. It means refusing to let their actions control your present. You're not forgiving for them. You're forgiving so that you can move forward. The past built your current foundation, and if that foundation cracked, that means you have the opportunity to rebuild something stronger. The pain shook you because your old base wasn't strong enough. Now you know where the weak points are. Now you can reinforce them. Here's your reflection. What story from your past are you still replaying? And what would it take to close that chapter and start the next one? Principle number 3. Build resilience through reframing. Okay, this is the one I said changed everything for me. So pay attention. Being positive isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about finding the useful in every situation, especially the hard ones. Cognitive reframing is a psychological technique that involves identifying and changing the way situations, experiences, or thoughts are viewed. It shifts perspective from a negative interpretation to a more balanced or positive one. Let me tell you a story. A young man sees a massive boulder. This thing is enormous. He decides he's going to move it. Why? Maybe to prove something. Maybe just because it's there. So he starts hitting it, punching it, kicking it, every day for months. Weeks pass, months pass, an entire year goes by, and the boulder, it hasn't moved, not an inch. Total failure, right? Except look at him now. His hands are like iron, his legs are powerful. His entire physique has transformed. He didn't move the boulder, but he moved himself. The boulder was never the point. The becoming was the point. That relationship that failed, maybe it taught you what you actually need in a partner. That job you got fired from, maybe it pushed you towards something better. That rejection, maybe it was protection. Every situation, even the ones that feel like complete failures, are giving you something. The question is, are you looking for it? Here's the danger of negative thinking. One bad moment can ruin an entire day. Wake up, stub your toe, think today's going to suck, and then almost magically it does. That's called confirmation bias. Your brain looks for evidence to support what you already believe. But here's the flip side. If you choose to look for the good, you'll find that too. Reflection time. Think about a current challenge in your life, something that feels like a dead end. Now ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? Principle number 4, master patience and discipline. If you've ever watched a nature documentary, you know what happens when a lion hunts. It doesn't just charge in blindly. It waits. It moves inch by inch, staying low, staying quiet, completely controlled. The prey doesn't even know death is coming. And then, in one explosive moment, it's over. That's what patience looks like in action. It's not passive. It's not lazy. It's strategic restraint. Delayed gratification is the ability to resist an immediate reward in favor of a later, often greater reward. This capacity is one of the strongest predictors of success in life. In today's world of instant everything, instant likes, instant food, instant entertainment, patience feels almost rebellious. But every meaningful achievement requires it. Building a business, patience. Getting in shape, patience. Developing real relationships, patience. There's no hack, there's no shortcut, there's just showing up day after day when no one's watching. And here's how this connects to mental strength. When you develop patience for your goals, you naturally develop patience for your emotions. You stop needing immediate resolution for every feeling. You stop demanding that life be comfortable right now. You learn to sit with discomfort because you know something better is coming. Quick reflection. Where in your life are you being impatient? Where are you expecting results faster than they can realistically come? Principle number 5. Curate your environment ruthlessly. You've probably heard the quote, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." It's become a cliché because it's true. Your brain has something called mirror neurons. These neurons fire not just when you do something, but when you watch someone else do it. This is why yawning is contagious. This is why you feel tense when someone near you is stressed. Your brain is literally absorbing the mental states of people around you. So the question isn't just who do I like spending time with, it's who do I want to become? Because that's who you should be surrounding yourself with. Let me be direct here, maybe too direct. If your current friend group spends most of their time complaining, gossiping, making excuses, tearing down anyone who's doing better, staying stuck in the same patterns year after year, that's not a support system, that's an anchor. Now compare that to people who read books and share ideas, give honest feedback even when it's uncomfortable, celebrate your wins genuinely, push you to be better, take responsibility for their own lives. That's a growth environment. That's where transformation happens. I'm not saying you need to ghost everyone you grew up with, but I am saying this. Protect your mental energy like it's your most valuable resource, because it is. Limit exposure to people who drain you. Increase exposure to people who elevate you. It's that simple and that hard. Final reflection for this section. Look at your inner circle, honestly. Who makes you feel more capable after talking to them? And who leaves you feeling depleted? All right, let's zoom out for a second. We've covered 5 principles, but there's something underneath all of them that we need to talk about. Most of your emotional patterns were formed before you were 7 years old. Your nervous system learned what to expect from the world based on your earliest experiences. If you grew up in chaos, your brain might be calibrated for constant threat detection. If you never learned healthy emotional expression, you might not even have the vocabulary for what you're feeling. This isn't your fault, but it is your responsibility. Here's the good news. Your brain is not fixed, it's plastic, meaning it can change. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. This allows the neurons in the brain to compensate for injury and adapt to new situations. Every time you practice emotional awareness, you're literally rewiring your neural pathways. Every time you choose patience over impulse, you're strengthening that capacity. You're not stuck with the brain you have. You're building the brain you'll have tomorrow. Let's talk about some psychological traps that keep people emotionally weak. Negativity bias. Your brain gives more weight to negative experiences than positive ones. This was useful for survival, but it makes modern life feel harder than it is. Learned helplessness. If you've failed enough times, you might stop trying, even when success is possible. This is a pattern, not a truth. Emotional reasoning. Feeling something doesn't make it true. I feel like a failure is not the same as I am a failure. And here's something that might blow your mind. That anger you feel, that anxiety, that tendency to people please, it probably protected you at some point. It was adaptive. The kid who learned to suppress emotions might have done so because showing them wasn't safe. The person who's hypervigilant might have needed that vigilance in a chaotic home. But what protected you then might be limiting you now. The armor that saved you is now weighing you down. Part of becoming mentally strong is knowing when to take off the armor. Okay, let's make this actionable. Knowledge without application is just entertainment. So here are 5 things you can actually do starting today. Action number 1, the emotion journal. Every night, write down the strongest emotion you felt that day. Don't judge it, just name it. Over time, you'll start seeing patterns, triggers, and with awareness comes choice. Action number 2, the 5-second reset. When you feel a strong emotion rising, pause for 5 seconds before responding. Just 5 seconds. That tiny gap is where your choice lives. That's where you stop being reactive and start being responsive. Action number 3, the weekly audit. Every Sunday, ask yourself 2 questions. 1, what drained my energy this week? 2, what gave me energy? Then make adjustments. Do more of what works, less of what doesn't. Action number 4, reframe one thing daily. Every day, take one thing that annoyed or frustrated you and find the lesson. Traffic made you late? Extra podcast time. Meeting got cancelled? Unexpected breathing room. Train your brain to find the useful. Action number 5, the circle upgrade. This month, identify one person who consistently drains you and reduce contact by 50%. Then identify one person who elevates you and increase contact by 50%. Small shifts, big results. So let's bring this all together. Principle 1, your emotions aren't the enemy. Ignoring them is. Learn to embrace and understand what you feel. Principle 2, the past is a chapter, not your whole story. Let it go, not for them but for you. Principle 3, every situation teaches something. Find the lesson even in the losses. Principle 4, patience isn't passive, it's strategic. Master it and you master your emotional reactions. Principle 5, your environment shapes your mind. Curate it ruthlessly. Here's the truth about mental strength. It's not about never feeling pain. It's about knowing that pain won't break you. The game is all about mindset. You can make millions, get the body, achieve the status, and still be miserable. Because if you can't control what happens in your own head, everything else is just decoration. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one principle from today's video. Just one. Practice it for the next 7 days. See what changes. And I want to hear from you. Which principle resonated the most? Drop it in the comments. If someone in your life needs to hear this, share this video with them. You might not know what they're going through. Physical fitness is visible. Mental fitness is invisible. But invisible doesn't mean unimportant. It means foundational. Build the mind. The rest will follow. Next week, we're going deeper. The psychology of procrastination. Why your brain fights against your own goals and the neuroscience-backed methods to actually overcome it. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And remember, never let your curiosity die. Keep learning, keep growing. I'll see you in the next one.